has already done a number on the IMF's World Economic Outlook. The fund released its latest projections today. It now projects the global economy to grow only 3% this year. That is slightly lower than its April forecast. Global inflation, meanwhile, is expected to hit 4.7% in 2026. 0.3 points higher than its April projection. The IMF says the energy crisis is weighing down the global economy. Petya Koeva Brooks is Deputy Director of the IMF's Research Department, and she joins us now. I really want to thank you for being with us, especially as we continue to parse the news from the region pretty much by the hour. Even before the latest price shocks in the energy markets, and I'm really just talking 48 hours here, you warned in this report that the possibility of renewed Middle East conflict looms and could, in your words, extend commodity price volatility. You also say, though, conversely, that the global economy weathered this energy shock better than feared. Why?
That's right. We see the global economy as being pulled in different directions by different forces, and the war pulling it down, and then the technology boom going in the opposite direction. And we are projecting a V-shaped recovery as the war is weighing on growth this year. Now, that being said, of course, developments overnight also point to the substantial uncertainty and risks surrounding that. So our message is that in some ways we have seen a lot of resilience so far, as the oil shock had turned out up to now not to be as large as it could have been, given the use of strategic reserves, the lower oil demand, and the production elsewhere. But going forward, this is indeed a significant risk that now with reserves at lower level, if the conflict were to escalate, we could see, again, higher oil prices, inflation expectations being affected, and financial conditions as well.
Mm-hmm. And I want to point out it could be escalating even at this hour. We heard President Trump say that even tonight they may hit Iran again. Now, you still see, though, this kind of economic adversity, that there's tension between regions, as we've heard so many years, the haves and the have-nots on domestic energy production. Many countries, especially in Asia, are feeling the strain and feel quite captive to these geopolitical shocks. You don't really see that ending until at least the back end of 2027?
Well, we see that divergent outlook, the uneven outlook going on for a while. And I think it's one part of it is, again, the exposure to the energy shock. There are a lot of importers, and many of them actually are low-income countries. Some of the countries are in Asia, but also elsewhere. That those countries that had not been benefiting from the technology boom, investment boom, they're the ones that are being very affected. But on the other hand, we do have countries, including in Asia, like Korea, like Thailand and such, the ones that have been plugged in the AI technology boom supply chain, that have actually have upgrades relative to what we expected back in April. So it's really a very diverse picture across the world.
You know, you have said that policy leaders need to be nimble. In the long term, they need to develop a certain robustness. I am wondering, given the fact that inflation may yet rise substantively, will they have the room to do that? Because you point out again in the report that price stability is really what everyone should be aiming for here.
Central banks do have the tools to react to developments in either direction. Now, we have, as we point out, that headline inflation has gone up more than what we expected. But at the same time, the good news so far has been that core inflation has been fairly stable, and there have been very limited second round effects. Now, of course, it's the early days, and if we were to see additional increases in oil prices, then it would be particularly important to watch out and see what happens with inflation expectations. And again, central banks would need to be particularly nimble in their response to the incoming data, including what happens with inflation expectations.
I'm wondering, Ms. Brooks, does the sovereign debt level around the world bother you? I mean, no developed country seems to be paying any attention at all to their debt or their deficits. Do you believe that a fiscal reckoning is coming? And I don't mean in developing countries, because the IMF has had to deal with that for decades.
Well, debt levels have increased over the years, and this has been a message that we have pretty much in every report, how important it is to actually
Ms. Brooks,
go back.
It's what I wondered.
Um, well, one of the things that we point out here is that there have been a number of measures that governments across the world have rolled out in order to provide support in the face of the energy shock. Thankfully, those had not been as large as in the past, but we still think it's very important as the shock fades for those measures to be unwound, and also just to go back to replenishing those fiscal buffers, because there will be more shocks going forward, and I think the ability of governments to respond would be severely limited unless there is fiscal room.
Again, from your lips to the halls of power, as again, in developed countries, as this is going on now, we will see if anyone's listening. Ms. Brooks, again, appreciate the deep research from the IMF. Thanks so much.